areas and the allegations made.
No, Mr. Speaker.
Now, I wish to move to the next limp of the charge, where it is alleged that you violated Article 2271 of the Constitution on procurement of goods and services, as read together with the provisions of the Public Procurement and Disposals Act 215, by flouting the principles of public finance management in as far as public procurement of goods and services is concerned. Where the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority, PPRA, faulted the procurement processes for the construction of Dandora Stadium, the authority flagged irregularities in the awarding of the tender, alteration of contract specifications, suspected irregularities in payment, and forgery of documents. And that despite technical evaluations questioning paying 196.87 million for the contractor. Now, Honorable Governor,
Yes.
are you at any given time involved in procurement matters?
No, Mr. Chair, not at all. And Mr. Speaker, I'm sorry again.
Do you have, just listen to my question, do you have accounting officers charged with the responsibility of dealing with procurement in your government?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Section 103 of the PFM Act, I appointed CEC Finance, who also appointed chief officers to be in charge of all the departments within the county government of Nairobi, Mr. Speaker.
Now, have you dealt with the procurement in relation to Dandora directly as an accounting officer?
Not at all, Mr. Speaker.
Have you ever signed any voucher towards payment of any monies in relation to Dandora?
No, Mr. Speaker.
Have you been involved in the signing of any contract in relation to Dandora?
No, Mr. Speaker.
Now, have you ever been summoned by the County Assembly in line with the exercise of oversight under Article 185 on the question of the contracts in relation to Dandora?
No, Mr. Speaker.
Now, I'll move to the next question. So, is this charge sustainable in view of your role as governor vis-a-vis the roles of CEC, finance, and other accounting officers?
No, Mr. Speaker.
Now, Charge 1F. It is alleged that you violated Section 35 and 45 of the County Government Act as read with the Section 104 and Section 148 of the Public Finance Management Act between 2018 and 2019, and contrary to the law, the office of the County Executive Committee member for Finance and that of the Chief Officer for Finance were held by the same person, one Winfred Kathangu, which situation occasioned confusion and inefficiencies at the county treasury, hence failing to promote good governance and compromising the doctrine of transparency and accountability in the county government.
No.
What would you say?
No, Mr. Speaker. But at this juncture, Mr. Speaker, for any senior officer to act in any acting capacity is not an offense, Mr. Speaker. A good example, Mr. Speaker. When CS for Finance Henry Rotich was arraigned in court, His Excellency the President appointed CS Ukuri Atani, who was then I think the Minister for Labor, to act as the the CS Treasury, Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, even again after that, Ms. Winnie Kadangu ceased to act as CEC Finance. She was promoted to the position of CEC Agriculture. Her name, I forwarded her name myself to the County Assembly, and they confirmed her, Mr. Speaker, to a new position as CEC Agriculture. I want to confirm to this House today we have a substantive CEC for Finance, Mr. Alan Igambi. We have a substantive Chief Officer Finance, a position which was also held by Madam Winnie Kadangu, Mr. Speaker.
Now, during the time when Winnie Kadangu was acting, before she was confirmed by the Assembly, was there any loss occasioned to the county government as a consequence of the time when she was acting?
Repeat the question, please.
Now, was there any prejudice occasioned to the county government during the time when she was acting as CC Finance before she was confirmed?
No, Mr. Speaker.
Was any issue raised by the County Assembly on the same?
No, Mr. Speaker.
Now, I'll move to F. I'll move to H. G and H. Now, it is alleged at 1H that as governor for Nairobi, you violated Section 104 of the Public Finance Act on the responsibilities and powers of the county treasury.
Yes, proceed.
Where through inaction, action, or commission,
yes,
you continue to preside over a broken public finance management system where the county treasury remains ineffective despite various resolutions of the County Assembly urging you to improve efficiencies by decentralizing the finance function in the sectors as required by the provisions of Section 148 of the Public Finance Management Act, and that as a consequence of the same, the county continues to operate in contravention of the law. Now, do you have CECs, being the accounting officers, appointed? Do you have chief officers appointed as county accounting officers by the CEC Finance in line with Section 148?
Repeat the question.
Do you have accounting officers
Yes.
in place,
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
duly appointed by the CEC Finance?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
So, is there a breakdown?
No, Mr. Speaker.
Has any breakdown been shown to exist?
No, Mr. Speaker.
What would you say about that charge?
Mr. Speaker, again, I refer this House, in the interest of time, I don't want to do a lot of explanations, To the Controller of Budget report on volume 3D. Mr. Speaker, page 626. And the ICC should prepare a clip. The Assembly appeared in Senate. The clip where I was standing answered the same question before the Senate. ICT prepare that clip. Page 626, Mr. Speaker.
Page 626 of the volume 3.
Volume 3.
And Council, how?
Volume 3. Volume 3D.
Volume 3 of
Volume 3D.
the document marked D. D3.
Council, how long do you want to take to conclude the examination in chief?
Mr. Speaker, I'm going to cover 2 more areas, then I'll let my colleague, Mr. Odieki, to take over.
So that will be how long? Answer my question.
I should take another 20 minutes, then I hand over.
Is there an intervention there?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I hope the 20 minutes Mr. Nyamo is speaking about is within the period that you prescribed. Maybe for us to be able to plan, you might want to inform us how much more time they have.
Yeah, I will check that. Yeah, we are checking. Just proceed. I'll let you know.
Yes, so now proceed. I hope honorable members have gotten the document, Mr.
ICT.
Speaker.
Yeah, the one standing.
You have. Okay.
But the problem is, remember, immediately my predecessor was put in 2013, I started fighting him because I wanted to be the governor and I'm not going to be the governor. Why am I saying this, Mr. Chair? Just the other day, my brother, who is not here to speak for himself, through a press conference in Parliament, he raised very grievous allegations against my administration, saying that the revenue in Nairobi County has drastically reduced compared to that last previous year. And I have the report of the control of budgets on the implementation of budget review of all the 47 counties. And Mr. Chief, if you go to page 196 of the report by the control of budgets, just one sentence, it clearly says, the county government of Nairobi generated a total of 10.25 billion from all source revenue in financial year 2019. This amount represented an increase of 139 million compared to that realized in 2017-2018. That was 66.1% of the annual budget. These are the facts. Let us be oversighted using facts, Mr. Chair. Last one, Mr. Chair. It was also said, I don't want to mention names, that there is definite right and center in our discovery of ours. There is no development which is being seen. While the same level of budget, page 197, she's saying, because she provided for the by them, and there is a chart here showing an increment of improve in the absorption of the 30% development funds, where the previous rate was 2.1 billion. This financial year, Mr. Chair,
Okay, Mr. Chair, this is of time. We can stop that clip.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair.
Council, you have a total of 40 minutes left, so you must finish the examination in chief within 20 minutes.
Okay, Mr.
Now, Your Excellency, the Governor,
Yes.
that clip that has been played, where was that forum?
That was Senate, and I was explaining the Controller of Budget's report and the observations that were made by the Controller of Budgets. Our revenue, we did well in revenue increase. As per the attached document in the affidavit, also improvement in the use of IFMIS and internet banking to processing financial transactions, Mr. Chair. Also, if you go to 3308, observation and recommendation by the Controller of Budget, the county made progress in addressing some of the challenges previously identified in the implementation of budget. Some of the progress made included improved compliance with Article 207 of the Constitution of Kenya regarding depositing funds at source in terms of revenue collection into the CRF account, Mr. Chair. There is a chart provided by the COB, which has explained everything, Mr. Chair. Another important point, which I'd like to mention at this juncture, and that, remember, Mr. Speaker, is the Controller of Budget, not Sonko, not the County Government of Nairobi. A total of 20.4 billion was spent on both development and recurrent activities, Mr. Speaker. This expenditure represented 120.3% of the total funds released from CRF amount, and was an increase of 19.8% from Kenya shillings 88.4% recorded in the last financial year 2017-2018, Mr. Speaker. 3119 presents a comparison between, okay, that's a graph, Mr. Speaker, but there is also, Mr. Speaker, an improvement in development expenditure, which recorded an absorption of 78.9%, which was an increase from 26.1% attained in the financial year 2017-2018. Conversely, Mr. Speaker, recurrent expenditure represented 90.8% of the annual recurrent budget, an increase from 88% recorded in financial year 2017-2018, Mr. Speaker.
So now,
the document is in the public domain, Mr. Speaker.
would you wish to have that document relied upon by the Senate when it retires to look at, to consider this particular motion?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Now, before I hand you over to my learned friend, Mr. Ondieki and Mr. Kinyanjui, would you confirm that your systems are up and running?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, our systems are up and running.
Mr. Speaker, at this juncture, I'll hand over the mantle to my learned friends to finalize.
I hope you have noted the timelines I gave.
Mr. Speaker, as it is, and as you appreciate that in the doctrine of fair trial, and in ensuring that the governor gets adequate time to defend himself, and he's the one that is actually is like an accused person. Mr. Speaker, we urge the honorable members in this House, in view of the interjections that were made, to at least give us some additional time.
You cannot attribute that to interjections because I've also been monitoring. Just use your skills to deliver, be spot on, and cut out a lot of stories that may not add value to what we are prosecuting.
Mr. Speaker, as it is, the documents that were served upon the Speaker the day before yesterday are quite many. And as it is, for him to deal with those questions and the charges, as many as they are, in as much as there are 4, they are in limps, Mr. Speaker. And you've seen from his testimony, he's been dealing with documents, he's been dealing with answers document by document. And that has taken quite some time, Mr. Speaker. This is an impeachment proceeding where his fundamental rights are likely to be affected, and also the democratic rights of the people of Nairobi. So I would ask Mr. Speaker to extend lenience in relation to His Excellency the Governor and give him additional time.
Next, Councillor Evans, take over. Next one. There's Evans, yeah, let him proceed.